whispers in the deep dark night.
Welcome to the AI Riff, where we cut through the noise and break down the top AI stories of the week with real talk and real relevance. No hype, no fluff, just a vendor-agnostic take on what's actually shaping your world today. Whether you're in tech, lending, or just trying to make sense of the headlines, we're here to separate the wheat from the chaff and the facts from the fiction. Now let's get this started with your hosts, Mario Diabenedetto, Rob Katz, and me, Kyle Myers. We hope you enjoy this episode of the AI Riff.
Welcome to episode 48.
Unbelievable.
48's a good number.
And look, we have a guest.
Well, who joined us? Did Mario? Is that Mario? Did you open the door and leave?
I invited a colleague,
Awesome.
somebody with a ridiculous amount of experience in software, mortgage, and technology, like the rest of us on this call.
Oh, good.
So, welcome to John Norris.
Thank you.
Welcome, John. I can't believe someone actually volunteered to come on this show, because most of the people have been either never call us back or I don't know. John, you're brave.
Thank you. I'm a avid listener too, so I'm happy to be able to participate.
Awesome.
You're the
Wait a
one.
second. You're the guy.
And John just messaged us on the side, volunteered. I thought this was a paid gig.
Oh, wait. Yeah. All of a sudden, you see he says volunteer, and the screen goes black. You know. Yeah. Volunteer, really? Well. Thanks for joining, John. And Mario, what are we going to talk about today?
Today we are going to riff off of a piece from Andreessen Horowitz. They go by for those who don't know, they go by A16Z, so you can kind of look them up that way. A, Andreessen, 16 letters, Z, Horowitz, ends in Z. As a VC, a very large VC, they put out a lot of thought pieces in general, a large quantity around AI because that's where a large number of their investments are. And they put out a piece recently titled something to the effect of From System of Record to System of Intelligence. And the base theory that they're putting forward is that we're going to come into the age of systems of intelligence where systems that just store data, which they are really loosely saying is what has been predominant, and they point to big vendors like Salesforce as the example, are going to be subsumed by systems that are able to understand how to use data and how to use AI to act on that data. And it really is, I think the reason we wanted to kind of bring this piece and riff on it was because of this potential. If you think about the pain and suffering that we all deal with on the systems of record that we have to deal with today, right? And particularly in lending, right? That there's a bunch of legacy systems. But then the vision of, well, what's possible? Like if you had a whole system that was geared around this concept of system of intelligence that could go get data from wherever it needed to, all of the systems of record, like what would life be like? And should people start planning for that? That's part of the question, right, that goes with this is this really something that is coming soon? Or is this kind of like, yeah, right, in mortgage, we'll get it in a decade and, get away?
I was curious when I read this article for the three of you guys. Have any of you experienced this yet? Have any of you logged into a CRM and had the CRM not just serve up the traditional dashboard and what you need to do today, but the deep dive? And you log in and go, hey, did you know that this company that you work with just filed their 10K, and here's the highlights of the 10K, and here's the phone call you should make to them to follow up to the email that I sent out on your behalf? Like, I've never seen it in action. I mean, that's what the article is kind of talking about is take the data that's sitting in your CRM or take the data one day that's in your LOS, and with the layers of AI and the tentacles that it can reach out to other systems and bring stuff together and do work on your behalf and really set you up. It sounds cool. I personally have never seen it. Didn't know if you guys had yet or not.
No, it's on the wish list of every company.
Okay.
Like actionable, don't have to think about it. I think the article even said the person with 6 weeks experience in sales can just pick up where the person with 10 years in the industry just left and just be able to run with it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not seeing that in the mortgage industry.
Right.
I don't know.
It does when you put it that way, right? When you just say as if you're going to jump all the way to somebody with a lot of experience in mortgage is going to get subsumed because the system of record is so smart. Like I absolutely, call BS on that, right? That we're nowhere near that part. So, I guess my biggest curiosity is do we think we're even close to the way Rob just described it? Like, do we think that the AI that we've seen and the AI that people are offering, it's not that it's not doing it. It's just that nobody's done it yet, but it's there. Like we're close, are we?
What do you think, John?
Yeah, what do you think, John?
I would say I think we're getting closer, right? So there's some, even where I work now, we're doing some things where we're pulling data from different sources, right, through APIs and pulling it in context of a use case of like a loan officer doing something. Not quite to like in the CRM place like you're talking about, Rob, where you're pulling in data and but the way I see this work, you're kind of going, the same way the article talks about, which is really I think all these applications are going to end up at a really use case driven based on the role, and that context of the person expertise doesn't really go away. They just become better at, there's just more tools around it, more information available to them because they don't have to go and swivel, I call it swivel screen to all these different tools to get everything. There'll be a way to, pull it all up into one place, right? So there's things that, in our industry, y'all know that there's a lot of subscription-based services for data, right?
What?
Yes. Everywhere you turn, well, we've got one that we have people subscribe, but I've got an API into it, and I can pull the same information all day. It's the same pattern they're talking about, right? In the Salesforce example. So it's just a matter of time before that comes around and that cost goes up, and because they have the revenue side of it, right? So.
Can I jump in, Mario? I know you got something to say, but John, you just touched on two things. You touched on two things that really sparked with me. The first is a lot of what we just described is happening without AI. So you think about like the platform Mario Wilco that you guys are building with Charlie is the automatically trigger for a flood determination, and if it is in a flood zone, it automatically does something else. It triggers ordering this or ordering that, whatever it is. There's no AI in there. That's just an API integration responding to data. So I think people need to be careful, even with what I described there, of as somebody in a CRM system logging in and seeing all this information about the 10K and all that other stuff. Is that really AI, or is it just integrations, John? To your point. So a lot of that's in play. The other thing that you mentioned, John, is the cost, right? I am a firm believer that the heyday of all the unlimited usage that we're basically getting, or this cheap usage of AI, is going to it's going to go away, and it's going to go away in a dramatic fashion to the point where, like all the vibe coding that I do and stuff like that, I can't believe I spend $40 a month. Like I got to be burning $2,000-$3,000 at least of tokens and things like that, and energy and stuff, and one day, OpenAI is going to reach out to me and go, yeah, your $40 subscription isn't good enough anymore, right? And it's going to happen fast, and there are going to be big jumps, and it's like we're all getting addicted to the drug, and then the price of the drug is going to go up, and we're not going to be able to cut free with it. So I can't remember, John, one of the things you just said is you were kind of describing it, and all these costs of all these subscriptions and everything else. The cost of using AI to do stuff that typical APIs could do could make it that, well, why are we going to go the AI route? So, I'm sorry, Mario.
No. It's funny because I feel like it was like episode 2 that we talked about somebody basically, and they were kind of doing this in the context of when AI sits on your phone. And the premise they had was you're not going to have apps the way we have apps anymore. You're going to have apps that are oriented around actually doing a particular thing, and you don't really care where data is or whatever else. It's got that all under control. You just say, I need to do X, Y, Z. And if it needs to go to 5 different places, it's got that handled for you. So it makes it all invisible. The it feels like that's really what this system of intelligence is basically saying. Like, the great AI, in the sky, have an awareness of all the data in all the places that you need to do at any point when you're doing this job. And I will know when I need to go to one versus the other, and I will proactively go get stuff, and I will advise you. Like, I will do all of those things. And it's just, yes, it screams of a big fat integration thing, which theoretically, should be possible. But what I also heard in all of this, kind of the way I read it, was less about the agentic, I'm going to do the stuff for you, and more of, I'm going to bring stuff to you that kind of says, here's the state of all of that. Right? So what do you guys think about, I'll have to say, I'm still a little down on the agentic piece of AI because of the non-deterministic nature of so much of the things it does. Like, you can't guarantee it does the same thing the same way each time. Like, for me, it's a great advisor, but not necessarily a great agent in a lot of what we do. So is this system of intelligence the former or the latter?
This is going to be this is where we're going. I believe it's a contextual layer that will put if it can, and this was a question off camera we had, Rob, of, I'm not sure how what is this was it CCM or is that what it was called? How does that work? How I'm still not sure. What do you mean? Well, you're taking the intelligence of the role, and you're putting the guardrails on the AI to make sure it doesn't extend out past that, because having data is great. You can have your database and you have all these points of data, but then what do you do with it? How do you operationally use it? And that's where usually you have a nice clean UI that you use the data with the UI, or you serve up information. Well, AI needs to know without the UI how to do that, and to do it within the confines of what you would have an application do would keep you at your guardrails tight. And that's what the layer, when they bought this other company, I can't pronounce the name, like a Japanese name. What was it? Ikagi. Okay. So, and that they do well in doing I think they're the ones that do the job of the contextualization of the job that you're doing, of what the work is that has to be done. And then sitting on top of a Salesforce or whoever that is going to just serve up the data, but they're really creating an application as an AI agent that serves up the data in the right context.
So I heard somebody talking, and this is completely unrelated but related. I heard somebody talking today how, like, social media in general makes everybody on the planet feel like you see the 1%, right? The richest people with all this stuff, and you think that, like, why isn't my life like the 1%? But because it's out there and you feel like, it should be that way, you like, why am I missing out? Let's draw this back. I'm a mortgage lender. Like, should I care about any of this? Or is this so futuristic? Like, just wait for ChatGPT 7 and we'll get it for free. Leave me alone. This is stupid. You guys are a bunch of dorks.
Well, so I was at a phenomenal mortgage conference in Nashville last week or the week before, and it was put on by a mastermind group for reverse mortgage originators. 180 LOs in the room. The top producers in the nation were there presenting how are they doing reverse mortgages and everything like that. It was. I can't believe I'm going to say this. It was one of the best conferences I've been to, and I swore when I retired I'd never go to a mortgage conference again. I know I am a loser. It was good. Anyway, one of the people there was demonstrating their virtual LOA. So they have not gone the path of replacing a loan officer with AI, but they now have, when you pick up the phone and you call your loan officer, the virtual LOA answers the phone. It was all audible, and they're from the South. She had a Southern accent. Other than the tiny bit of a lag after you were done talking before she processed and started talking back, if they can eliminate that lag, you would have no idea you weren't talking to a very charming, very knowledgeable loan officer assistant who could answer basic questions, and if the question got too tough, she'd be like, you know what? Let me get Frank to give you a call back. What's the best number he can reach you at? That kind of thing. And just so they ran 2 or 3 different phone call scenarios to see what it was like, and it was really good. And what they emphasized was they're not replacing the loan officer. Now, they were saying that because they were at a conference filled with loan officers, but they really went after the loan officer assistant market because always available, always had the appropriate answer, always handled it the right way, could handle an unlimited number of calls coming.
Low risk. Low risk.
Low risk. Yeah, nothing. Yeah, no quoting rates, nothing like that. It was really interesting, and they were, and they're not ready for release yet. And it picked up a couple of tiny glitches, but I was pretty impressed. So to answer your question, Mario, I'm a lender. Should I care? Yeah, there's some pretty cool stuff that's coming out you may want to pay attention to, right? So it's a little off topic. It wasn't something that aggregated, or maybe it did. Who knows what it was doing in the background? She had good answers for everything, right? So.
John, you were going to
interesting. The CRM piece, right? So I mean, I've never met a salesperson that likes to take the time to enter anything into a CRM system, right? So
oh, come on, that's so much fun.
Yes. So they want 14 of them, but they don't want to use any of them. So so I think there's an opportunity there, right, where AI can have a big play in the CRM space because as it starts to learn the context of the business, because these Salesforce, these big platforms are very generic, right? So and that's why there's this whole ecosystem of, all these point systems that are aligned with the business that kind of bridge that gap. I think that's the part that we may see disappear a little bit, and because we can build our own context for our business and how we want to do it, like reverse our product set that we sell, but then being able to take. Listen to a phone call, take that phone call, turn it into meeting notes that gets put in the CRM that the rest of the team has access to and can see and pick up the call, right? Because LO will do certain things, and then kind of build that database of process and log of information as far as the product.
So is part of this system of intelligence to be useful that it's really partly a router? Like it is aware of the context of the broad. Let's use our loan officer example, right? And John, the way you just described it, and Rob, what you described, like a loan officer does many different things over the course of a loan, every day, like all these different things. So maybe the system of intelligence has an awareness of all of those things, but it knows how to also defer. So the actual tool to take a loan app, the tool to take a conforming retail mortgage purchase app is over here, and this is the best way to do it. The tool to do a reverse mortgage is different, and you're going to want to do it this way. And it really is not just an integration, it's also understanding of the best-in-class tooling that it's been associated with to say, I know how to do all these things, and it doesn't have to be one thing, right? It doesn't have to be a point of sale. It's everything is a best-in-class, whatever that means, right? Maybe it's lender-specific, maybe it's some common tool, whatever it is. Is that a more useful definition of system of intelligence, or is that too cumbersome, too much, asking too much of AI?
I don't know about that, but it's good for me to express my throwing a wet blanket on this whole conversation, as I usually do, from the compliance perspective. This is the compliance roots coming out. I know. Wah, wah. So. What's this AI's NMLS number that is doing origination activities? Like, that's the question that has never been answered yet when everyone's building these cool tools. And I haven't heard someone come up with the legislation or the what we can do to pass the audit when, you can have your system of record, your record of what the AI did and said, and you're going to need that because you're responsible for whatever it says and does. But we have regulations on the books that say that an associate or a loan LO assistant, they still got to be licensed, right? To be able to do that.
Did you not know it's NMLS 99999?
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm going to use.
Well, not only an MLS number, but I saw a headline come through my feed the other day that Microsoft is planning on charging for a license for AI tools to access their software. Because they see companies having fewer employees being replaced by AI, and they don't want to lose that license, so they're going to charge seats for AIs to have access.
So if you have OpenClaw or whatever, and your what's the other one that goes to Microsoft? Is that OpenClaw?
But it's any of them. You're right, Kyle, because anything that uses APIs, right? We've seen vendors in our space realize, hey, it's great to give people APIs up until the point where you have to pay for all the work they do against your APIs, and then you're like, whoa, how am I benefiting here, right? And I think, Rob, that's a huge, like, we might do a whole episode on that one, right? Because the idea of what AI can access and all the APIs it can call and all the costs it's going to generate, not in tokens, but in API calls to other systems, like, that's crazy town.
Yeah, the service costs you $5, but then the access to the service costs you 10. So that's the way it goes. Well, have we gotten what we need out of this one? Do we need to go any further and deeper into this?
All right. So, let's exit question here, right? So I want you guys to take a stab at. Somebody will release something that they refer to and they give a moniker of a system of intelligence in mortgage in how many, I'm going to say months, but you can obviously use double-digit months.
18.
24.
Oh. I'm gonna really drill in onto your words, Mario. Someone's gonna release software and claim to be a system of record. So I'm gonna give it 2 months.
Oh,
I agree.
This warning. No,
I should have asked if you have something working. That's different.
Yeah, especially if it's got to talk to Encompass, right? That's going to be, that becomes really hard to do. So
in fact, I'm going to go trademark that right now.
Yeah.
So.
I would say, though, realistically, I think it's still in line with, weren't we calling for I'm not calling for the demise of the loan officer, but the AI people think that we can replace the mortgage industry in whole in 18 months, and it wasn't that
was an episode. Yeah
that was 3 months ago, so now we're down to 15 months.
15 months, okay. Well then, if I'm out there looking for work, I might as well stop now. I could just save myself 15 months because I'm not going to have an industry.
No, you should be finding jobs for mortgage people who are out of work. That's your job.
I'm going to be in the front of the line.
We don't mean that. Listeners, we don't mean that. You all have great jobs. You're going to keep them.
No, you're just going to do something different. AI is going to do all the stuff you don't want to do, and you'll get to do all the fun stuff. So, well, on that note, I'm Kyle Myers.
I'm Rob Katz.
I'm John Morris.
And I am still Mario Benedetto.
And this has been the AI Riff.
Wires hum like whispers in the deep dark night. Shadows dancing strange under neon light. Digits spinning fast like a gambler's hand. The clock chimes change, it's the new command. Oh, the future calls with a voice so clear. A melody of progress in every ear. No turning back, the wheels in motion. A tide of cold like the endless ocean. Binary prophets riding fading streams. Data flows like rivers fueling all our dreams. Simple or savvy, it's all the same path. Under skies of innovation, we redraw the map. Oh, the future calls with a voice so clear. A melody of progress in every ear. No turning back, the wheels in motion. A tide of cold like the endless ocean. Set the rhythm to the beat of change we sing. Every click and hum a key that rings. A revolution, quiet, but it's vast. Building empires where echoes of futures cast.